puddles again. He wants me to do all the work because I like this car. This is pathetic. They're disrespecting us. They actually turned much of LA into fire, which is a massive fire. Apparently, they did on purpose. That's an area that you need cleared up, so you can work there and you can clear it yourself. It's up to them. It actually just partly reflected in the legal battle, not a defendant case. Swung across willow whips that were hanging down like Tarzan to get over to where I was. Then we needed to get in a pickup truck and drive the wood down the street.
Well, hello there. Welcome to the Orloff show. Let's see. How do I get rid of this sign?
So again, this is like the legal battle keeps on getting pushed. It's incredible.
Well, hello.
It's dragged on for so long.
Welcome back to the Hotel Orloff. It's Sunday, May the 18th, or is it the 19th? I don't know. We're in an interesting dilemma where our air conditioning does not function whatsoever, and we've been told that all the freon's gone, so we're going to have to. We've got a GoFundMe going. How about that? You'd like to help us out? Not too bad right now. It's going to rain, possibly a bad thunderstorm tonight, so that won't be it'll be cool enough. But as we get into next week, it's going to be becoming brutally hot, and it's not going to. If you would like to help out, that's great. Some of you wonderful folks have already helped out, and I really appreciate it. We've got I just built a cat swing. You saw me do it. If you want to see me build it, you probably don't, because it involves a lot of frustration. But look at this, man. This cat's sleeping here. So here, Callie, the amazing cat. Look at that. Callie's being friendly to Alan. Callie, oh, come on, I want to be friends with you. Oh, leave me alone, you little punk. No, I'm going to be your friend. I'm just a grumpy cat. Yeah. Poor old Alan being harassed by this little kitten. Well, Alan's starting to. And this cat was so scared of everybody when we first adopted her. But hello, one person watching. Hey, you know something? Last Sunday was Mother's Day, and I looking at family photos, and there was one last box of photos from Vietnam and for my father. And I said, "Oh, I'll look at those later." I'm kind of wanting to look at them now, right now. So let's look at them. This stuff was never in a family album. It's instead in a box, a shoe box. My mother put a lot of things in shoe boxes. So it's Vietnam and house building. So this could be very interesting. Let's take a look, ladies and gentlemen. I gave you at the beginning, finally appears. I saw pretzels put in front of me. Normally this doesn't inspire me. It serves as a reminder of how far you've come. Now, so part of the knot of the pretzel. My father was in training and was sent off to Vietnam, and he wasn't there when I was born. My mother had to drive herself to the hospital. She was in labor, and then her dad, my grandfather, came and watched over my two older brothers. And so, you know, my father came back from Vietnam, and the story was that I was in my crib, and I looked and said, "Who are you?" I didn't say it out loud, but apparently I was thinking that. So I see there's duplication of some of these photos and the ones I saw last week, because there must have been every time the picture was taken of me as a baby, there must have been two copies made. One was sent to Vietnam, and then my dad brought it back. So here's my older brother, Steve, with me as a baby. So I often stayed in a historic hotel because I worked with people I don't know if this is enough light. We need a little more light, I think.
And Cliff told me they actually were using these very beautiful doors, very beautiful. They took the doors off the hinges.
Let's do that. My wife was telling me I was grumpy yesterday and this morning on the live streams that, you're kind of being insulting to the viewers. And then you're asking if they would be nice enough to help us out as we sweat. But you're being a jerk to them. And I don't mean to be. It might be that I'm just embarrassed that I'm asking for money, man. And maybe that's, I don't know. It's hard to psychoanalyze yourself. Sometimes I don't know. I was bullied a lot of the time growing up. I don't want to be a bully. I I mean, I do make fun of people that like Deadpool and Venom, and but I'm just it's just good natured rhythm. Okay. Okay. So, how are you doing? Two people. One of them is Kevin from the incredible Gotham City Comics, who was doing yard work earlier today, and um, yeah, here's the top of that box. Look at this 1960s girl. It says Chuck's Pictures, Vietnam, and the House Building. So maybe this light will help. This is myself and my older brother Steve. Is there too much light refraction? I had this problem last week. Myself and my brother Mike.
It's just crazy. Yes, so they want to go accept me, they've done an incredible job. Harass me, they've done an incredible job.
That's my mom. She's holding me, and my brother Steve is there.
Whoa, okay. Yeah, we're gonna get the
I might show these again some other time with on a cam show where I can get higher resolution. Some of these I don't remember from last week. I don't think they were in the scrapbook. This is me opening a present. Obviously, it's Christmas. If I was going to come back around and start the rest of the damage, so much damage, it's so many, I've never had this much sleepwalking in my life. Here's me running around. My brother Mike's trying to catch me. That desk there has been with me my whole life. It was in my childhood bedroom. It was a desk, obviously, it was my father's, but right now my wife's up at that desk right now. She has a work from home job, and she uses that desk that's been around my whole life. Here's a color picture of me. It says about 4 months, 10 days. It's funny when they say about and then they give an exact. About 4 months, 10 days, 3 hours and 42 seconds. It's about that. See, I'm making fun of my mother. Don't get your feelings hurt. April the 3rd, 1966, a date which will live in infamy. And I'm actually happy that day because it's 1966, which is a great year. It's a great year for comics, a great year for movies, a great year for music. Me happy about something. Because Venom hadn't been invented yet. Here we go. I knew I had to get him to wake up and get back in the car, so he could go back to where he'd been. He couldn't stay there. realizing that Deadpool was created by Rob Liefeld. Is that correct? Was it solely him that created Deadpool? But okay. And then I saw an interview with, or I saw Rob Liefeld being interviewed the other day, and he's just the most wholesome Christian guy in the world. And then I think about, I've never read a Deadpool comic, but I've seen the movies, and I'm thinking Deadpool couldn't have been like that in his original incarnation, created by this guy that just seems like Rob Liefeld, the all-American boy. Just as far as the profanity and generosity and all that. I don't know. Who knows? Who cares? I don't know what that's a picture of. I cannot make it out. These are interesting pictures, and I've never really seen them. It appears to be someone's bedroom. Oh, well, this might be the Vietnam. No, I don't know. It's like a kind of a seedy bedroom. Maybe that's my brother Steve's bedroom. I don't know. You remember what the blue room is about, right? We're talking about two different cities. You got Maui, you got Los Angeles. Apparently, this way to spare you. It's a photograph. I assume this is me. I don't know. Anyway, have you considered helping out just a little bit of money with our GoFundMe? Man, because the air conditioning could be fixed as soon as I get to about 1,200, we're at 300, and we've raised that in about 24 hours. And we get to 1,200, they'll do the work and we'll have air conditioning, and then I just have to pay the rest in 2 monthly installments. But I've got to have half the cost of the Freon installment first. This is me. How about that? Does it look like me? Look, I'll recreate it. Yes, it's separated at birth. It's like uncanny, right? Look at that San Antonio sun shining off the. Look at that, man. You can tell it's a hot day. My brother Steve's taking me for a stroll. And another incredible photo, dynamic photo of me in action. Okay, now we get to Vietnam. This is not my father. Oh, there's all this. My dad and his beautiful handwriting has written everything. Captain Dow on a trip with me to Tui Hoa, Phu Yen province to see new hospital construction, September 1965. So my dad was there helping with the construction of a new hospital in Tuihoa, Phu Yen province. I don't know. Help me with the pronunciation. Dang. That is my father, and he's looking pretty tough. That is, damn. That's almost scary. Man. On the way to Tui Hoa and Shio Rio, the med evac dust off helicopter. A med evac dust off helicopter. So this is January 8th, 1966. My dad is on a helicopter. These have never before been seen on social media. By the way, do you realize you are the last people on the planet Earth that can say they knew what the world was like before social media, before the internet? We, so you're about my age, YouTube Studio says all my viewers are age 54 to 66. So you spent 35 years of your life without the internet, and you know what it's like. And what is going on in the chat, man? Oh my gosh, we have big news here. Gotham City Comics. Now, that's Kevin, our friend, is saying, I just heard Diamond is shutting down. And then the next one, he says, completely. So he runs a comic store, so you heard it here first. Diamond is shutting down completely. I just want to get my next issue of Castle of Frankenstein. I guess Barnes and Noble is where you could get it. Maybe I just get it from Amazon. I don't know, but well, I never liked direct distribution of comics. I like comics in the 7-Eleven and the Mr. M on a spinner rack. That's how I like to get comics at the bookstore. But you know, that's been the way it's been since the 80s. It's uh, big changes, you know, but like we said, we've seen changes before. We've seen the internet come, seen Diamond go. It's another big change, but you know, we're used to changes. By the way, are any of you guys in Missouri, man? I heard thousands of houses were destroyed during my last live stream. And last night I was on a live stream with Night Tiger, and I think really bad. Don't think I know really bad things happen in Kentucky. We're supposed to get some bad storms tonight, man. It's like we're under assault. That's another thing. I didn't come up with this thought, but I've heard this somewhere along the lines of that. We were the last people to know what the world was like before the internet. Uh, there was a time that you went out to play with your friends, and none of you knew that it was going to be the last time that you would go play with your friends. And I thought about that. Someone said that somewhere. Sounds like a fortune cookie. Man, when was that time? When was the last time I went out to play and didn't realize that's the last time? Uh, it's a little easier for me because if you grew up in one place, it's hard to remember. But when I moved from like when I moved from San Antonio to Washington State, and then when I lived there, I don't think I ever went out and played because it was always raining. And I would come home and watch reruns of Happy Days, and and whatever else. It was always cloudy and raining. For that year, we lived near Seattle, and then we moved back to Texas. And I guess I went out and played, but it wasn't like third and fourth grade when we lived in San Antonio, where you just get on your bike and you'd go have adventures with your friends. Anyway, back to Vietnam. Maybe I should change the name of tonight's episode. Back to Vietnam. Okay. The Vietnamese guys are all smiles, but my dad is all grim. He writes a lot on these guys. Two Vietnamese officers. The torn metal behind them is the right wing of a C-123 that was hit by a helicopter. I don't know if he was writing all of this for my mother's benefit. I think it maybe these were his personal photographs. He was writing this for more historical benefit, which it's almost like he was writing. He was writing it for whose benefit? For me, right now at this moment, as I read it to you. He wrote this in 1966 for you and me now in 2025. So these things would be remembered. Bong Son, September 65. Um, oh, it's got all this stuff about rank. I don't know what that even means. Man, if Meyer was here, it would really be helpful. He could help me translate this. Oh, there's some Justin going to be 44 in a few weeks. Yeah, you're young like Kevin, man. Kevin's. Uh, I'm sorry. Looking at these family photos is kind of. I don't want to be a sissy, but uh, it was a girl that took me away from my. It was a girl that took me away from my friends. Huh. Who did she lead astray? You or your friends? Yeah. I don't know. Sometimes we got to tell stories about this stuff. But I don't know. It says 1 gold pip equals second lieutenant. 2 pips equals first lieutenant. 3 gold pips equals captain. 1 silver pip. What is a pip? Let's see if any of you are in the military, you can help me with this. Equals major. 2 silver pips equals lieutenant colonel. 3 silver pips equals colonel. Generals wear stars like ours do. Oh, he's writing down all the information about how you can tell the rank of a Vietnamese uh, officer or what their ranks are. He's written it down. That might be just for his benefit, so he will remember. Then you know what rank your allies are, because they don't do it exactly. It's interesting. It's probably for his benefit. My mom wouldn't have cared about that. It was not for her benefit. This one's from September 65. The medical wheels, including Colonel Quant, discussing the next move of the 85th evac hospital. September 65. I was born in April of 65. So at this point, September 65, I still have not met my father. Captain Dow and First Lieutenant Toan at Bong Son. About 1 hour after this shot a fire. About one after take two. About 1 hour after this shot, a firefight began at the base of the hills in the background, about 2 kilometers away, September 29th, 1965. 1 hour after this photo, there was a firefight at the base of the hills. We got tons of photos coming up. Looking toward VC positions at tree line. Where I stand is the headquarters of a field hospital near Khartoum City. And I may be mispronouncing these. I'm trying. It's not that my dad's writing is bad. His handwriting's beautiful. It's just interpreting cursive writing with, Vietnamese names. Maybe pronouncing them wrong. Indeed. Okay, what's this photo? Montegard Hospital near Khartoum, September 65. I only spend like $2,000 a month on pizza. Just think about it. It cost me almost half a year. I'll do it. Riding shotgun near Pleiku. This is a young SP4 from Hawaii, October 65. Oh, that's a good photograph. Look at that. A young SP4 from Hawaii. Your dad was an SP4 that was from Hawaii. That might be a photograph of him, or at least a silhouette. Men picking up bombs. You don't see that on the back of a family photo very often. 20th September 65. That's not a job I would want. I've had some bad jobs, but being a man picking up bombs, that's worse than working in the McDonald's. This one says preparing to ship medical supplies by medevac chopper to Tui Hua, October 65.
Right there. So I say here, all of us, it's moving the face reality on the ground.
How about that, ladies and gentlemen? Vietnam.
They are continually being invaded by the military alliance. Save these
And a HV, is it HUID medevac helicopter coming into the Quang Vietnamese hospital helipad. Carrying wounded and takes up carries in wounded and takes up medical supplies. October 65. Now, if you've got, my father's no longer around. My mother's no longer around. Even my older brother's gone. You have old photos like this, and you've got a mom and dad still around. You need to go through these on, well, not videotape anymore, but you need to record it. Record it on your cell phone. Record it digitally. Get the stories that your mom and dad have told you all your life, that you're bored about hearing, that you tune them out, but you've got to get them down and record them, because you will regret it someday that it's not. You're trying to think about, oh, what was that story about my dad told me about my grandfather was a major league baseball player. Get it down. Have them, there's all, my dad never talked that much about this stuff. Just to see him talking to me now through these photos. Uh, get the stories they've told you a million times and get them to tell you the stories they've never told, just for history's sake, for your family history, for our collective history. Because if you've got family members in World War II, Korea, Vietnam, there's still a few World War II guys around. They're getting up there, Dick Van Dyke's age, but you gotta do it. A Montagnard hamlet near Pleiku. Note the orderly layout, October 65. Let me see. Okay, this is very orderly. Sure. Choppers coming in the 1st Air Cavalry Division near NK. They took some troops out to play May for the battle, October 65. These are taking troops out for a battle. Ugh. Yikes. It's like play me. Play May. I don't know how to pronounce it. Pleiku Post Engine. I'm sorry, Pleiku Post. Maybe Pleiku Post Engineer Yard. Note the woman's garb. This is customary, October 65. That's customary garb for a woman. Oh, man, Charlton 66 is there, man. What's going on, man? Would you like to come on the show? I mean, I haven't heard from you in a long time. I was wondering what happened to you. Who else is in the chat? Man, yeah, Charlton 66. I was wondering, did I say something wrong? Because I do tend to do that. Hui Hua, November 65. Looking out a helicopter. Look at that, man. I don't know, man. Jeez. I don't think I could handle being in a war. My dad always said, no, you step up and do what you got to do. I don't know, man. I think I'm too much of a pussy. I could never jump out of an airplane. I know that, man. Preparing for first lift into Tui Hua helicopter assault. That doesn't sound good. Helicopter assault sounds dangerous. Assault is not a word that sounds fun. Okay. Got a whole shoebox full of these pictures. Tui Hua Airmobile, not Airmobile. Tui Hua Airmobile Assault, November 65. Damn, man. This thing. I'm a little baby, never met my father, born in April of 65. It's now November of 65. At any one of these moments, I might have never met my father if he didn't come back. Gee whiz. Bird's eye view of a Montagnard family lot near Playcoon, November 65. What's been up, Charlton 66? Taking off on an air mobile operation in Twee Hua, November 65. That's $500. I think you just want the biggest donation. Oh my gosh. Sentry dogs arriving in Quainon with handlers. They'll be used to guard ammo and POL dumps. September 65. What does POL mean? Come on, guys. Some of you are military. These these dogs are showing. Look at the. It's like in the cartoons when a mean dog is inside a crate like that. Those look like yeah, dogs are showing up. Oh, what are people saying here? Oh, Charlton's talking. Currently not available to come on at the moment. We should chat on the phone sometime. I enjoyed your family videos very much. Oh, thank you. I've got home movies too. I just thought about that. I've got not Super 8, 8 millimeter films of my family. I could point the iPhone at the TV and show those. Um, that would be a nice little companion to the photos that I showed last week. Yeah. These are CV2 caribous. Haiku, November 65. There's all the photos have a roll to them. They've been kept in the shoebox for a long time. Yeah, that's terrorism. It's stalking our company. Things are well here. Still working at the comic shop. Is your back holding out? Because I know that the worst thing about a comic shop is the effects on your back. Because I wound up at a chiropractor. But I guess the same thing happens to people that play a lot of video games. This is a Montagnard hamlet near Pontoon, November 65. Only my father would use the term hamlet. Maybe they use that term over there. I don't know. It just sounds very. So that's the crucifixion we're all going through. You go into the cave of prophecy. Pantry left again. Thank you guys so much. Flight over central lowlands near Anka at 5,000 feet. September 65. 5,000 feet over Vietnam. He says, see me might need to talk about for my maybe 20 minutes. Did you if you just tuned in, Steve, Kevin, Gotham City Comics just said he just heard that Diamond is gone and distributors. Chasing state chasing station during Bong Son, February 66. Okay, so Batman has been on the air for several weeks at this point. It has just started in January of 66. I have still not met my father. I'm in a crib. If I was born in April of 65 and it's February of 66, what would I be, crawling at this point or trying to start walking? You tell me. Okay. 2.5 ton truck uploading from LST in Queenon Harbor, September 65. The civilian air terminal and downtown port of Queenon. That was like a bigger city.
into the crowd. This is symbolic of the alliance's protection. Again, when you
Well,
aircraft, the high-speed aircraft like the ones we're making, you have to be harnessing.
I'm optimistic. Hopefully, the war in the Ukraine will end tomorrow. We'll see what is going on here. Pontoon MACV aid station.
Going all around to look for a place, traveling a significant distance without any appropriate location at the time.
Huh.
This is symbolic of ongoing frustrating delays. I know you guys are frustrated with this. Is the alliance ever going to do this? Yes, they will. But we all have to travel a significant distance forward.
Anyway, that makes my day. Charlton has reemerged. Sergeant Vaughn at the Montegard Hospital. Sergeant Vaughn.
So red is the color of the wings first doctor. It's also the color of blood.
What is this? These are VCs captured during the Battle of Bang San, February '66.
Very survival type of
VC soldiers.
And I saw Robbie from high school. He looked very young. He opened up the door and served me. This was our only guy. There's only one couple in our.
Okay, this is a ward building at the Pleiku Station Hospital. Roof and plumbing leak. Roof and plumbing leak here. September '65. My dad from this point, at least from this point on through the rest of his career in the Army, was in hospitals and running hospitals. One of my counterparts, Captain Trung, he is CO of a 300-bed station hospital in Pleiku. So I assume that means my father was a captain at this point, and he was running. He was a hospital administrator. Oh man, yeah. There's my dad with his with Captain Trung.
This is all prophetic of how we are about.
It's my father.
Race.
Incredible.
So look at this. I then say this.
Anbon, August '65. Missionary plane.
I did not know.
It's a little bitty photograph.
Until I had that meeting. I'd never heard of it.
Oh, there's a new comment, I think.
People. So this is what got me.
Oh, wait, what is it? Oh, Friar Tuck. My best friend as a child stepfather was a helicopter pilot in Vietnam. Charlton '66. Yes, my boss got the email Thursday or Friday that Diamond was gone. Oh, okay. You know, Steve Jeppy, the owner, gets some flack here, but part of the issue was he did good with comic shops, fronting them tins. Well, I don't know the. Oh, yeah, well, there's more. Okay, there are hundreds of thousands of dollars to help shops stay afloat, especially during the COVID emergency. Yeah, I heard that we lost half the comic stores in the country during COVID that couldn't last it out. Charlton says, oh, I already said that one. Oh, sorry. David Wilcox, stop singing that. Bastard. Friar Tuck says he received a Purple Heart after being shot through one leg into the other while flying over there. He had them displayed on their living room wall. A great guy. Wow. My main problem with the comic distribution system is I think that it was the beginning of the end for the comic industry that I loved, because comics were no longer available to kids in places where kids went, like 7-Eleven, Circle K, Mr. M, Stop and Go. they were only in comic stores and kids didn't go there, except special type of kid. And then the comics companies, DC, Marvel, started trying to do more kind of halfway adult comics, knowing that they weren't going to be sold directly to kids. They were selling to collectors, so they started doing these comics that I just wanted the world to stay where comics were for kids. Kids learned to read reading them. But when they were distributed to comic stores only, then all these companies that were more aimed at little kids went away. Harvey, you know, direct distribution that killed all the other little smaller Gold Key, Charlton, things like that. I don't know. There's good things, there's bad things about direct distribution, but eh. And then the Atari 2600 becoming available in homes where you don't play video games at home. Yeah, several things contributed, but C-130 pilot while in flight, September 65. I don't know. This one says EOD men picking up classified bombs. Classified bombs. Anyway, got a. It's also reflecting our present. Most of us do not realize we can contact spiritual entities. This is the link if you want to come on the show. It's in the chat. And this is a link if anyone wants to help out with our GoFundMe, because we don't have any air conditioning. And it's, trust me, it was really brutal last week. It isn't brutal right now, but it's about to get real bad, and like real bad. So we need to get the Freon put in. We're trying to raise money for that. These people live in a village sprayed with small bombs. They're friendly during the day and unfriendly at night, September 65. Huh. They're like werewolves, son. They live in a village sprayed with small bombs, so they're friendly in the day. Yeah, and you don't know who your friends are. That's the problem. I guess people get pissed when bombs fall on their homes. The innocent victims of war, Bong Son, 21st ARVN, clearing during heavy operations, February 66. Oh, it's a bunch of little kids. Don't worry, it's not a bloody picture, but they very well could be orphans. So, in that sense, it's an upsetting picture. Loading a caribou with casualties at Bong Son, February 3rd, 66. The boss, Colonel Adamo, or is that Adams, is to the left with hands on hips. A former tactics instructor at MFSS, Lieutenant Colonel Ryan Infantry, is facing the camera wearing sunglasses. And Dr. Pat Smith, the woman doctor of Khartoum, she has a Montagnard. She has a Montagnard hospital. Dr. Bob Filler, climbing to the house was the surgeon who removed the bullet from a little girl's heart. The man hidden by a basket is Colonel Murphy, CO of the 85th CVAC Hospital, December 65. If these are not, if the resolution's not very good, I'll do all these pictures again on a show that's not StreamYarded. My bed, it sags and it is lumpy. I left my camera, shaving gear there. I used the mosquito net nightly. December 65. Man, that's the bed my dad slept in over there. How about that? That's a spooky photo, man. Trust me, they were Kent cigarettes. That's the brand. Is this a monkey? It's either a monkey or a very strange looking baby. The monkey grabbed the colonel's hat from his head. Then the monkey flopped the cap on its head and pranced around the pole. The monkey stole this guy's hat, put on the hat, and danced around the pole. How about that? Yeah, smart monkeys over there. Those BC mountains and jungles covered by clouds, November 65 near Khartoum. How about that? The Koreans dig in. The Koreans dig in everything. Weehua South Airfield, 8th January 66. Dig in everything. Oh, okay, I see. But I guess they have Koreans over there helping during the war. Yeah, I guess what he means is they've got the Jeep halfway buried. I guess when they dig in, they kind of try to hide everything, I guess. House where 6 died in 2 weeks from malnutrition. NK, August 65. Well, that's depressing. I didn't expect these photos to be like watching The Sound of Music. Man. A remote outpost, 8th January 66. Look at that. Damn it. Captain Thok, 2nd Field Hospital CO, and Sergeant Vaughn, my supply NCO. The monkey is trying to get food from their pockets. This was taken at Dr. Pat Smith's Montegard Hospital near Khartoum, September 65. Yeah, there's a monkey trying to get into their pockets. Do you see that? Can you believe it? Okay. Oh, this is a big city here. Saigon during siesta hours, November 65. Interesting. Saigon. Oh, I don't know what the best angle is. This is Hong Kong Mountain overlooking Anki, the main base of the 1st Air Cavalry Division. About 2 months ago, this was overrun and destroyed by VC. This picture was taken a few weeks before the big attack. Oh. I wouldn't be able to tell if that was before or after an attack. It looks kind of like before, after an attack. I mean, loading some of the many wounded into a CV-2 Caribou aircraft. The people then were flown to Huinam for treatment. Long Son Operation Masher, February 66.
want to live in this world, you have to share. You can't take it home from yourself. I'm not paying for it.
Oh my gosh, what's going on
I
here?
am doing it every week, live every week. Probably never stop. So,
Oh man, I don't know about this.
Sunday, because I
Dead
Saturday or Monday.
ROK soldier being medevaced from hostile area 8 miles north of Queenon, 9th January 66.
It is happening. So without further ado,
Man, brutal stuff.
here's the first one, which isn't from Desert, but
These were not photos that were shown to me when I was a kid. These were kept in a shoebox in the closet in the master bedroom.
So yes,
VCs being evacuated from Bong Son during the big battle called Operation Masher. They were captured just prior to this picture, 2nd February 66. The two men with helmets are guards.
I always encourage you very clearly to not demonize everyone together. There is no racial consciousness. There is no racial spirit.
Pontoon MACV monument is to the first sergeant who was killed defending compound during VC attack.
There could be big war events coming up very soon because now the war is being propagated mad, keeps being made wrong, all that kind of stuff is happening.
Imagine that monument is no longer there. Pontoon MACV. I'm not sure what MACV stands for. I assume it's a hospital. That's why I say don't use all these acronyms like TAC and ASM because no one knows what they mean. And here I'm trying to figure out. I could easily do a Google search and figure out how to pronounce all these Vietnamese names and find out what these military acronyms are. Nuns from Queenon Holy Family Hospital visiting 85th Evac Hospital near Phu Thon. The Sister Superior, the laughing one on the left, is Sister Karen, a former Army nurse, September 1965. Man, these nuns are all in white. Just the nuns being in all black. Wonder what the difference is. Returning from Phui Hua in Phu Yen province, NA, and there's nothing. October 65. Damn. I You're just looking out an open door at that distance down. I've got a fear of heights. I couldn't handle that.
Then we got to look at the number of seconds.
Okay, now here's a mixed in picture of me being held by my older brother back in the States. Meanwhile, back in the States, this is April the 3rd, 1966. So I'm almost a year old here.
Some of my dreams that I see next week are talking about that. Ooh, the two more than eight still the supers right there. Then we got a live dragon. Maybe we are psyched for the Alliance chat, considering this is new day.
Just seeing my brother's face there. Man. Look at the lead, the giant lead. This is the second Corps ARVN headquarters. MACV bullets are in the foreground. This was attacked by VC in February 65. Pleiku, November 65. My Pleiku hospital is at top border of the print at the arrows. Oh, my father has see the little arrow he drew in?
Did this AI image of the Pope hint that 47 knew that the next book would be inherited? So
I'll try to film these without
big classics. So maybe this
holding it up to the screen. The phone is reflecting on the photos. So if I was to use the Lenses on the other side of this phone. I wouldn't get that, so I'll redo all these pictures. I just wanted to look at them right now, and then we'll go upstairs. Maybe this one will take. Maybe this one will take something. Oh, he erased. Maybe this one will take me to Queen on November 65. This one, he's actually halfway smiling. When we start making arrest announcements. Working at Pleiku for an aircraft. Waiting at Pleiku for an aircraft, November 65. I tell my father is much darker. He told me he became, you know, real dark there because of the sun. He said, waiting for an aircraft to take me from Camp Holloway airstrip in Pleiku to Queenan, 21st November 65. Just close ups. These are selfies from 1965. Coming in from medevac mission during Tweehua operation. Yep. Yep. Is going to happen. Special ops will be carried out. Loading pipe at Pleiku for shipment to Khartoum, November 65. The atmosphere in the country would be divided. So many people tell what narratives. So long. I wonder, is Charlton 66 done any shows recently? Sometimes I don't get notifications, and I need to check. 5 miles north of Queenan, 101st caught the VC crossing a river in the very center of this picture, October 65. And how is that going to happen? Here comes guys. Must be Moses. What do we got here? Vietnamese party. Flies over everything. 721st FMD in Queenan, November 65. Yeah, it is a party, man. It's party time. Hey. Party time in Queenan. Victory Day Parade at Pleiku, November 65. Then our good friend Juliet, the whistleblower who I interviewed when I was down at the Denver, they're asking James to exploit the strategy. He calls him out. Approaching Queenan in a UHID helicopter. Note the engineers are cutting down a mountain for fill material. I got a mountain, man. This very common sentiment lines on the street. Yeah, definitely got a lot of people. What happened to that mountain? Oh, remember the Americans cut that mountain down. Oh my gosh. Oh, this is that party in session. Depot party, November 65. Yeah, look at that. This week is going to be huge. We're just getting started. We attempt to change the narrative, soften acts, and forthcoming this weekend. One of 12 wards at Pleiku Station Hospital. Roof tiles are cracked in numerous places and water leaks into wards. I think we saw this picture earlier and he was saying the same thing. An HUIB armed helicopter crashed about 5 minutes after Pick was taken about 400 yards away in a straight line between the two Chinooks in the foreground and Key, October 65. First Air Cav Division at On Key, October 65. Still here. Thank you guys. Very honored. Let's say I really love and stuff. The hate gets worse when they. A Vietnamese hamlet near Pleiku. Note the disorder.
want to hurt you more when you know you're losing. That's why this happens.
October 65.
So, and it's crazy.
I can't really see the disorder. Maybe if I had a magnifying glass. Okay, now he's showing us. Yeah. Hospital ward, Second Field Hospital, ARVN, contact suppressed. Roof is collapsing due to rain leaks. Yeah.
Now he's demanding answers, questioning why she casually discussed the sensitive issue with unknown.
Montegard, mother and daughter
So she got out ahead of this.
washing the baby. The women are wearing the typical dress of Montegard women. The picture was taken February 66 in the Stuckenfield Hospital Pontoon. What is going on? Oh, what? Censored.
Then we got 2 minutes 32 seconds.
Someone drew. They put an X over her face, and they put a big mark through her face, and it says censored. I guess they didn't want photos getting out of women that were working with the Americans. I don't know. So I guess all these pictures had to go through a censor. Main square of Saigon, November 65. The ladies are wearing the native female garment, which is pronounced Ao Zai. How is pronounced like how without an H. Zai like bonsai. The bon. The bon. This is a very attractive garment. Oh, this is the picture we saw earlier of Saigon. They're not censoring their faces, I guess. A Vietnamese girl walking to work. She is wearing a typical hat. Clay Coon, November 65. Go ahead and censor her. Really, you don't see her face that clearly. What's going on here? Oh, it's the monkey again. The monkey is looking for Dr. Thock's pen in a sleeve pocket. Dr. Thock wears a beret which is tan colored. He's a former infantry officer who served with the French against the Viet Minh in 1953-54. He then left the service and went to medical school in order to become a surgeon. He now commands a large field hospital near Khartoum. This day we were visiting Dr. Pat Smith's Montegard Hospital about 5 miles east of Khartoum City, December 65. So that's more of that monkey.
So yeah, they're implying that he's been compromised very much.
Sometimes they would bring out that you could bring your folding chair out and they would show you a Hollywood movie. Um, when did the movie Yellow Submarine come out? Wasn't that 1967?
Again, this all has meaning. Everything stayed with big picture stuff.
I'm wondering if did my father serve two stints in Vietnam? I don't, or was it one? Well, if it's okay, maybe he was still there when Yellow Submarine came out. I think you spend a year when you go there, right? So I remember my father being real skeptical of what was that guy that ran for president? Was it John Kerry, right? Um, he only was there for a few months. He was just there because he knew someday he was from an elite family. He would possibly run for office, and the photos and films of him walking heroically down the beach in Vietnam would serve him well. Like, oh, we've got some new comments here. Oh, Charlton. I plan on doing a show tomorrow at some point. I have a few things that I picked up. I have been waiting to do one in hopes that my commission from John K. Snyder III will arrive. See, I'm embarrassed to not really know who John K. Snyder III is. But I know he must be a great artist if you're into him. Uh, Visiting a military training center near Shio Rio, January 66. Anyway, my point with the Yellow Submarine thing is, my dad, I guess, thought it was some war movie. So he took his folding chair out there to watch this movie. And then he's like, "What? Oh my goodness, couldn't take it. It's some stupid cartoon." And he just folded it up and left. Um, I know that story because Yellow Submarine premiered on television, on network television, and I don't know, it seems like the mid 70s. And he told me that story. Yeah, they brought this movie out in Vietnam. And, yeah. Visiting a military training center near Chio. Oh, this is my dad. Martial law was declared there. They were giving all this money to stuff. They see all that. What other bad actors? Did you get? Thank God, Steve. Did you get that, Charlton? Steve, did you get that? Gene Autry sign for Meyer. That was incredible. Planning trip to Tui Hua from left to right. A pilot, Colonel Adams, my boss. A pilot, Major Clay Humphrey, QM advisor and fellow Riley grad, and Captain Lou Marino, ordnance advisor. At some point, when my dad was in Vietnam, he was sitting there having a beer, possibly, and an actor from Hollywood came up next to him and started talking to him. My dad knew him from some TV show. I don't know if it was about lawyers or doctors, but it was George C. Scott. And he was there just to see what's going on in Vietnam. Now, this was 5 years before Patton. I don't think at that point he ever dreamed he would be playing Patton. And so at that point, Planet of the Apes was probably just going into production, and then Franklin Schaefer would have gone on to direct Patton after that. But yeah, he talked for like 3 hours with George C. Scott. Said he was a good guy. So, and then at one point, I don't remember if it was Ann Margaret or Raquel Welch. Maybe it was both. Came through, when we're saying hi, and my dad didn't even come out of the tent or whatever. Well, he was married, but still, it would have been cool to get an autograph. I don't know. Did Well, I know Ann Margaret went through with Bob Hope. Yeah, I think Raquel Welch probably did too. They probably both did. In third grade, there was a group of 5 guys. We hung out on the playground at Regency Place Elementary. We all loved Star Trek and played Star Trek and made our own little phasers and and communicators, and we all had crushes on Ann Margaret, Raquel Welch, and Sharon Tate. And of course, we were all like, "Ugh, that Charles Manson." We were so we were just what 7-year-old. What are you in third grade? 8. But we knew what we liked. I guess here's oh, I didn't read to you. It says unloading landing craft in Queenon Harbor, September 65. Well, if he was there in September 65. Oh, seriously, could someone look up when Yellow Submarine was released? Because uh, that sounds like my dad may have come back and then went back. Could he have served 2 tours over in Vietnam? I'm thinking he might have. And that might have been something that caused problems in the marriage, because if you're you just had a baby and your husband's off at war, you kind of resent it. Um, C-123 clanged together. Oh, yeah, the C-23 clanged together with a helicopter at Bang Son during the first day of battle. I think it says clanged. Oh, yeah. Whatever is happening now. Oh, is there a new comment? I can't believe it. I'm so lucky. You got a comment. Maybe not. Oh, there is. Oh, here it is. I did. He's talking about getting that sign with the Gene Autry. I did. It was a delight to get it. A great job. Well done. A great idea. He should do more based on various comic book logos. I posted it on Instagram. I'm looking at it now on one of my bookshelves. I thought it would look good right above the actual comic, like on a magazine comic rack, and then that sign's above it. On the way to Khartoum on a Beaver aircraft, September 65. Mr. Mr. Shipley, formerly at Letterman, myself and Sergeant Vaughn, my supply NCO at Khartoum, we were getting ready to fly on the C-130 to Pleiku, September 65. This is what we've looked at so far. Bang Son, 29th September 65, second day of battle. This is Captain Dow, 721 at FMD with me. Yeah. My dad's the taller one, obviously. Post number 45. Yeah, second time that they said it. Flying on a Huey. This is VC country, and those are my knees. Between Pleiku and Khartoum, November 65. Those are my dad's knees. Wounded ROKs being medevaced 9th January 66. What up? My father's just talked about what a waste war is of people and everything. So, Trump's right. Thousands are dying over there in the Ukraine, and I mean, how it's going to end up. Just stop it. Just stop it. This is the C-130 that came to Khartoum carrying Montegard ponies and dropped me at Pleiku later. Khartoum, November 65. Then they knock on James again because he had a rooftop party that's supposed to be worried about his own safety. Right after okay. Medevac Hueys of the 498th Medical Company Air Ambulance. They're lined up ready to go on very short notice. David Thaxton, in 5th grade, has a daddy that flies one of these very choppers. He is an outstanding pilot and a brave man. February 66. Maybe Yellow Submarine came out in 66. I don't think so. I could be wrong. Oh yeah, you're right. Yellow Submarine it was much later. Yellow Submarine is the 10th studio album by the English, because 67 was like That was like Sergeant Pepper, right? You know, it was the 10th studio album by the English rock band The Beatles. Police and Janet. Sounds like he cut and pasted it from Wikipedia. Yeah, okay. So my dad must have gone back to what? We were I don't understand the timeline because I was aware in 1969 and 68 we went to Hemisphere and my dad was we were at Fort Sam Houston. Maybe my dad just I don't think my father was in Vietnam in 1969 because I remember 1969. I was 4. Those are some of my earliest memories. But he said, I swear he told me that he was in Vietnam. Maybe he was somewhere else. Oh, and there's no one I can ask. My father's gone. My older brother's gone. My other brother, I don't even know where he is. There's nobody that knows. That's why it's important to interview on a record, maybe just with an audio recording, just an old cassette recorder that record your family and their stories. I think it's important. Preparing to ship 6,200 pounds of medical supplies from Queen to Pleiku via Caribou, February 66. Oh, it says November 13th, 68. Maybe my dad went back to Vietnam in 68. That is the movie date. Okay. Well, that wouldn't have been the same tour of Vietnam, obviously. Oh, Charlton says, gotta leave. Take care, Gratu. I'll call you. Give you a call sometime next week. Best to Cleo. Oh, yeah, thank you. Um, I'm available after like 4:45, 5 o'clock Central every day. And then week after next, I'll be available all day for a couple of months, then back to work. Justin says, good to see you, Charlton. Yep. Virtually imagine that we saw it. Yeah, that's good to see you. Yes. That makes me feel good because I haven't talked with him in a while. Um, this says medevac approaching helipad 6 kilometers north of Bong Son, February 66. The helipad was site of ARVN Airborne Brigade clearing station. When I first arrived a few days before the dead and dying were laying all around in a rainstorm. I first arrived a few days before the dead and dying were laying all around in a rainstorm. A medevac chopper a medevac chopper crashed here about 3 days after. No one was seriously injured. On a helicopter headed for Tweehua, February 6th. You look at these pictures, then you realize how my father changed from these pictures I've seen of him in high school to the guy that I knew. Realize, oh, Queen Harbor, January 66. I don't think people emerge from battle, from war. People emerge from battle and war completely unscathed and just, that was fun. That was the best time of my life. I loved it. I don't know. There are people like that, like Mel Brooks. Oh, I love World War II. But I don't know that he was at the front lines if he was Russ Meyer. Best time of my life. But then he was a cameraman. Of course, he would have seen. I think he was a cameraman Go along with Patton. I could be wrong. I don't know. But yeah, the people that really see the bad stuff tend to not talk about it a lot. The guys, oh, I'll tell you my Vietnam story here. Listen to this. Here's my World War II story. I think a lot of them uh, didn't really see. The guys that saw the bad stuff, it's like they didn't talk about it much. Talk to these guys that were alumni of the school I used to teach at, right? They were in this middle school, junior high school in the late 50s, right? 59, class of 59. They went on to high school. And they were looking at a book of the Bataan Death March. I'm such a comic nerd. Every time I see the Bataan Death March, I almost read it, the Batman Death March. But anyway, it's Bataan Death March. And they saw these young guys being forced along to march along by the Japanese soldiers, and they said, "Man, that looks just like our English teacher." And that looks a lot like him. Of course, then 59, 15 years after the war, people still kind of look like they did. And so, might have been a 22-year-old guy. Now he's in his mid 30s, late 30s. So they went into the teacher with the book they had, this World War II book. He said, "Is this you?" He just kind of looked at him and didn't say a word. Yeah, it was him. And some of these guys, these World War II guys, they said, our football coach, he taught, so a lot of times football coach, they give him a few classes of history. And the football coach, and these were Vietnam. I'm sorry, these were World War II vets. These guys, this is late 50s. He's telling me his stories about, being there, hearing about Buddy Holly being killed in the plane and everything, and all the sock hops they used to have, or they called them canteens, and the gym. Canteen, of course, was a term left over from World War II. And uh, anyway, this coach would come in and say, "So I'll give you free homework. I'll give you 100. I just need to hit someone." But someone he just wanted someone to lean over and let him hit him with a paddle. Just so it's like, man, that's twisted. Hey, you want free homework? I don't care if you did something bad or not. I just need to hit you. This is these are true stories about the 50s. Okay, so this is the type aircraft that ferries around the ugly American types. It is Plush, November 65. Oh, this is the type aircraft that ferries around the ugly American types. My dad has capitalized ugly American. So these must be where politicians or famous people arrive at. Maybe this is what George C. Scott arrived at. I don't know. Ugly American. I've never heard my dad say that. Um, my wife says, "Thank you, Steve." This just makes me laugh. All these pictures are in the shoebox of the smiling 1966 girl. It says personality. I love that font, don't you? Let's see. These are shoe size is patent 9.5. These have to be girls' shoes. These must have been shoes for my mom, but they look like shoes for a little girl. Only there was no little girls in our family. I don't think my older brothers would be wearing shoes with this girl on them. But I don't know what the origin of this box is, but I kind of like the box. It'd be nice if it was in mint condition, but having Vietnam written across the face of this girl, I don't know. It's kind of thought provoking, right? OH-13 helicopter flying by some CV-2 Chinooks at Camp Holloway, Pleiku. I believe Chinooks are what they used in the Korean War. So these were older helicopters. Those were like what you have seen in the MASH, right? Okay. Getting ready to depart for Tui Hua and Charray, 8 January 66 is my father. 1.5 seconds. Yeah. I don't think my father would mind me showing these pictures to you, but I mean, they're taken for a reason. This shot was taken accidentally in my room. It shows bookcase I had made in Queen On. My poncho is draped over top, September 65. I've got my father's blankets from Vietnam hanging right over here. The cats are climbing them, these two little kittens. They're messing up my dad's Vietnam blanket a little bit. See these camouflage? I got them there because there's no doors there to the porch. Originally, there were doors, but they're no longer there. Hold on a moment, ladies and gentlemen, everybody. Now we get new details on the parties. I can't believe it. You're careful. Yeah. So then, but we all like to say, this is loaded with no read it. Want? Oh shoot! Checking to see if anyone contributed to the GoFundMe. 25 is another one of our great ones here. Follow the last post. All I've been patient stuff. Proof will begin when you restart. Well, I can't really take off work to go see if I can get a bank loan. Then here he is saying if I wait until Monday after tomorrow, not tomorrow, but next Monday, maybe I could. But I don't know. Maybe someone would take pity on me just to get some. We're not going to make it. I mean, it's not like we still live in Texas. It doesn't get that hot, but we got to have spare condition. Waiting on airstrip at Pleiku for takeoff September 65. This flight I rode in the cockpit. Wants to move the population because nobody wants to. How will the president respond? Queen on Harbor. Those streets are freighters, aircraft carriers. September 65. Yeah. One of the most classic posts of mass threat. It was so on. Let's read that again. Well insulated, protected on Air Force One, in abroad, while the operation. Second Field Hospital, Khartoum. This is a typical mess hall. Flies cover food like a blanket. Nice. It is our hope for features and help discuss the features and help people Queen on Harbor, September 65. Queen on is strip above ink line. Where's the ink line? Primary targets are within the main district. Oh, I guess he's put an ink line there. Stay alert. What time is it? What time is it? I said it is 6 o'clock. God bless my fellow Americans. 41020.
So because I had lost 3 days on the
Gotham City Comics. I'm still working in the yard, still no helper. Oh boy.
So I feel really good. And on post 35,
yeah, Kevin's out making his yard nicer for his dog. His dog's having trouble with his back leg, and it clears the yard and make it more comfortable for him. Okay, this one doesn't have any writing on the back.
So many tutors have no idea what they're hiking, how much exposure they get. Portals are real, fairy rings are real, time traveling dinosaurs, behavioral physics. I think that
yeah, these don't seem to have writing. I don't know. Oh, it's a fountain. Yeah. He must not have had it. These are just. These look like they're taken with a different camera or type of film. They're all smaller. This maybe these are right when he's leaving Vietnam, and it just doesn't feel like writing a paragraph on the back of every one of them.
My ex-wife sent me this email. It's got a little base here. So these are microorganisms that will appear in drops of water. But for whatever reason, somebody makes it into a toy. He and I used to have the tardigrade routine that we did together. So it does have the kind of
I don't know what this fountain is. It's
yeah, so it's just tardigrade.
Apparently. Oh, this may be San Antonio. We may be back in San Antonio now, because the next picture
They're part of the microorganism community. They're out there
is
water. They've probably been ingesting
the Alamo. So those are probably fountains outside of. Yeah. Now we're back in San Antonio. So, well, no, because we're about to see. Well, I don't know. I don't know anything. That's what is that? Is that?
I don't know a whole lot about that, but it's interesting.
I guess that's Vietnam.
Innuendo that tardigrade sounds like target, which is the elevator that was used to drop the room and travel from space to time. Simply the idea.
Yeah, that's not San Antonio. I don't think so. But what do I know? Okay. Oh, more Vietnam. Looking out over ramp of a caribou on the way from Pleiku to Kontum, March 65. Bong Son rainstorm, second day of battle, September 65. Bong Son battle. Okay, Cat, don't come up and fuck up these photographs. Bong Son battle smoke. Battle was 3.5 Ks from where we were standing, September 65. On an EOD sweep as medic, 20 September 65. Captain Dow and I during battle of Bong Son, 29 September. Note, crying refugee child waiting to be evacuated by air. Note, crying child. This is like Mr. Spock wrote it. The fountain, which I believe might be in front of the Alamo. These pictures are a little scrambled up. Going from Tui Hua to Chiu Pio at treetop level and fog, River 65. Flying on a C-130, I took the picture while looking over the pilot's left shoulder, River 65. The pilot left to make make us some coffee. This was an Air America rice run from Queenon to Kontum on a C-46 November 65. Low level flying from Huihua to Show Rio in a helicopter, November 65. This must be Saigon. Let's see. I was waiting for a bus at main intersection of Saigon near the Rex BOQ, November 65. BOQ, what was that, Bachelor Office Quarters? I remember BOQ. I remember sometimes we'd be moving and we'd stay at the BOQ, which is like a nice apartment. And I guess it's meant for unmarried officers, but sometimes I guess a family would stay. I don't know. You tell me. But I remember staying at BOQ. I'm noticing the Sony brand here in the building. The first Air Cav Division Chinook helicopter taxiing down Camp Holloway runway for a takeoff, 21st November 65. About 500 feet above the river, just south of Tweehua, South China Sea is in background, November 65. There's a smaller picture of my father. No writing on the back of these. David Wilcox getting donations, but I'm not. That's okay. I mean, I'm glad that the friends that have helped us out. $300 has been a blessing. Well, I guess no one else donates anything. We'll have to figure out some way. Um, This probably mean I won't be able to do as many shows because I'm gonna. But it's all right. I do too many as it is. Last Frontier. Hello, everyone. Says Last Frontier. Hey there. A lot of pictures of this waterfall. But waterfalls, I don't know, still pictures really do not waterfall, water fountains. They don't really do water fountains justice, do they? Especially if they're like dancing fountains. A C-130 reversing its props for a quick stop on the Pontoon airstrip, November 65. This is taking for a long. This is taking a long time. This looks like I don't even know who those guys are, but it's clearly not Vietnam. Looks like it's at the Alamo. I got to stop this recording here. I was recording David Wilcock. So. Okay. Wait, Drew. Hold on. If I sit here, Drew. Wait for me. Uh, I don't know what's going on here. That might be my. Oh, it says you on the back. Mom and Eric, January 2nd, 1966. The small tree was in the corridor leading to the gymnasium. It was a visiting day at the convent. Parents, family, and friends were allowed to visit with the girl aspirants. Love, Mom. Uh, Maybe it didn't say Eric. I don't know. I guess someone's becoming a nun or something, and it's my grandmother. I don't follow. I guess this is the way I kind of remember my dad. Well, July 65. Um, June. Maybe he came through this. I bet maybe I met my dad. Maybe my dad met me in July of 65. I was just a few months old. It's probably when he finished the training for whatever school he was going through. It wasn't basic training. He'd been in the Army since the Korean War. Uh, he was going through some training before he went to Vietnam. Might have, I don't know what it was, but anyway. I'm just trying to piece together the past from these photographs and from what I remember being told. NCO in charge of Pleiku Medical Depot Stock Control Section, September 65. Award Building in Pleiku Station Hospital, September 65. I think we saw that picture several times. So, a picture with no caption on the back. Um, Picture of the Alamo. It might be the same. Another print of the same picture. Okay, this might be the last of the Vietnam pictures. C-123 coming to quick stop on Bong Son's short runway. Okay, that's the end of these Vietnam War photographs. Put them back in there. But then there's pictures of, I think, the building of our house at Portrait Court. Um, no, this was a house. Damn. Hold on, Drew. I got to get this picture. It fell down. Uh, 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 mm, uh, uh, ouch. When we were living in Hampton, Virginia, when we got back from Germany, most of that time, it seems like it was what was that? Fort Monroe, Virginia. And then my dad, I guess, got sent to San Antonio, but I guess my mom wanted my brother Mike and myself to finish out the school year where we started. So she stayed behind, and my dad was in San Antonio, and he had a house built for us. So when I started third grade, we were this house. My dad kind of helped plan it out, and the all the plants and stuff in the yard and everything, the whole layout of everything. My dad worked on this, and my mom was never really happy with it. She was always upset about like a floor in the kitchen being slightly slanted or something. Yeah. Um, but we lived there for 2 years, third grade and fourth grade, which were really important years for me. This is the front of the house. Such memories would be that he has at the back about 9th of April, about the 12th of April. Um, See there, that would be my brother Mike's room where I used to listen to the Beach Boys on 8-track. It's where I kind of learned about the Beach Boys in that room there. Just front yard. It just, I don't know, this means something to me. The building at this house where I discovered wacky packages and all that stuff. Kelly, the cat, wants to come up here and mess these photos up. Um, these might be interesting to the person who owns that house now to see these pictures. Maybe they don't care. But I also have the floor plans, the whole uh, architect's drawings of what the house will look like. That would be pretty cool, I think, to maybe the people that own the house now, but maybe not. Some people don't care about the past. Uh, Forms laid for Steve's room. Damn. This means something. Area between us and the neighbor. So right there was my childhood third and fourth grade bedroom where that Young Frankenstein poster upstairs hung and my Wacky Packages poster where I would listen to the Power records on my childhood phonograph. Construction center and backyard. Yeah, I think that's the beginning of the foundation for the master bedroom. I'll show these quickly. You don't care about this. Porch upright will be replaced. It supports under window shelf. Oh, yeah, yeah. I see what he's talking about. That's the foundation for my brother's room. Wow. I'm putting these out in case something happens to them. I'll be able to go to the internet and see them. So this house filling out and taking shape. Looking at front bedroom. Yeah, the cat wants to come up and fuck me up. It was a Spanish style house, like a lot of houses in San Antonio. This is where I watched Kolchak the Night Stalker, where I discovered Star Trek and Lost in Space, and so many wonderful memories of this house. That's starting to look more like what I remember. It's the front door. Steve's room beginning. Dirt is mixed heavily with a chemical to resist moisture over the years to prevent erosion once slab is laid on top. Damn. Neighbor house is about 6 p.m. Long shadows. Street sign is. Well, it's the end of that box of photos. A lot of memories that aren't my memories. Those are my father's memories of Vietnam and building a house um, on his own with his wife and kids in another part of the country, half a country away. Well, say Joe Biden is sick. Yeah, it's
Where this is what the tornado looked like approximately 25, 30 minutes ago. And it was literally a large wedge. Again, luckily, this was in a very rural area. I don't really think many people were hit by this. Thank you. Thanks a lot. And welcome to our show. This
There's thumbtacks around here. Drew, I gotta get out there.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, Frank County, J.F.R.C., San Francisco. 9 o'clock in the city. Good morning. Finally, it is Friday.
Well, here's a thumbtack. There's another thumbtack. I'm just trying to find thumbtacks. Okay, hold on a second.
This is the Frank Cherry Show. That's right. The Billboard's company now. This is the horse.
Thumbtacks, man. I got a thumbtack. Oh, this is. Yeah, there's Meowie Wowie. Um, want some cat treats. Right? Sprinkled some cat treats out. 3 cats are gobbling down. My water. That's what I was looking for. See this young Frankenstein poster used to hang in that bedroom of that house you saw being built back in 1972, 73. So it's kind of hot up here in the attic. Uh, um, a little bit. Okay. I'm gonna look for Space Mouse Comics. If you mean to do that. Okay. So I'm looking for a box of gold key. This might be this box here. Okay. It's a doll. Oh, my baby. I wonder why a man has to carry this load. It be the weapon when we shoot up the land. There goes my baby in my man. Yeah, let's say get the air conditioning fixed. I'm not going to be able to do any comic shows from up here. So, a few more degrees. It's kind of bad. What's going on in the chat? Gotham says something you can't do anymore of the American Dream. Yeah. Yeah. Here, this might be the right box. No. This box starts with Star Trek. This is Dr. Grotu Orloff. You're tuned in to the greatest radio station in the history of mankind, 106.9 FM. Come on, man. I moved that Silver Surfer poster here. It was in the master bedroom, but the fans blew it off the wall because we had to have 5 fans in order to sleep because it got kind of hot a few days ago. Okay. Space Family Robinson, Starstream, Space, non-spaceman's. Well, here's Spaceman. Oh, here we go. Oh, look at this. I do have that. This is the comic that my brother had in that family photo. No, don't get on that. That froze the cat. Um, anyway, my brother, it was a family photo I showed last Sunday from 1961. This, I thought I had this. This is the actual issue, not the actual copy that my brother had. And so, I was thinking, I've got to get that, but I already have it. So now I'm looking for 2 other comics I saw in that family photo. One was Mickey Mouse, like family album or something. I've got it written down. And the other one was a Looney Tunes comic. So, and this is from October 1960. It's a 4-color number 1132. Anyway, fantastic. But I have 2 copies of it. This one's in better shape. Um, just a connection to my brother. Now, my brother Mike is still out there somewhere, but I just haven't heard from him in probably 6 years. Um, so, this is after the split, Gold Key split away from Dell. It's a long story. Sometimes in these early Gold Key comics, they don't have the line around the border. So they don't have a line around that border. They were trying to make it more like a children's book. Great stuff, man. Okay. There aren't that many Space Mouse comics that exist. And I have this one. Oh, the other thing is, at this time during the Kennedy era, you got it on the back cover is the art without the logo. The logo, and this would be the trade dress here. Some people don't understand the difference, but it's all right. I forgive you. You're forgiven, my child. See the original art versus the. So that's good. I've got 4 Space Mouse comics. 2 are duplicates, and duplicates of a very important comic for me from that family photo you saw last week. I accidentally pulled out this copy of Spine Tingling Tales. This is a Whitman 3-pack one. The gold key, later gold keys sometimes didn't have paintings. I mean, this is actually a good drawing. It's just kind of jarring because you're used to those wonderful gold key paintings. So, Dr. Spector presents Spine Tingling Tales. All right, that's what I've been wondering about. Um, I mean, I've been thinking about it a whole lot the last week. Do I have that space mouse where he's riding Sputnik? I thought I did, but I wanted to make sure. There's a box of Charlton Comics, H through Y. Since Charlton Comics just reemerged, I got tons of. Some of these were, I mean, Steve gifted me with a whole bunch of horror Charlton Comics not too long ago. But Charlton Comics are a lot of fun. Yeah. I mean, everyone hates Joe Biden, but you don't want to wish that on anybody. What he's going through now, I don't care if he's Anton LaVey. Just really want to wish that on your worst enemies. Uh, uh, where did I put those thumbtacks? Where's the thumbtack? Ouch. I found a magazine box that's half full. So I've got just various magazines around. I can fit in here to fill this box up. Oh, look at this. Soldier's Manual for an Infantryman. Look at this. What year is this from? I don't know. I'm guessing this is 1970s. I don't think this belonged to my father, but to one of my brothers. There's a catalog from Best Products. Oh boy, it's getting too hot up here. I don't know. I can't take it. This is from KRLA Radio, December 3rd, 1966. This is their ad special from spring of '71. This meant a lot. I gotta evacuate this attic because it's too hot. Once I get the air conditioning going, I'll spend a long time up here with you guys. But I wanted to put up a poster. There's always something fresh and good waiting for you. Look like that. So I learned to build my own punji pit in the yard as a kid. uh, Dave says he'll give you $50 for their Cramps poster. Oh man, it'd be real hard for me to part with a Cramps poster.
Sweet Bermuda onion, snap and fresh lettuce and white red tomatoes. Fresh like pastries and donuts too. Well, that's the kind
It's hard for me to do that.
Fine food at Alliance Brothers every day. There's always something fresh and good waiting for you. At Alliance Brothers, where quality comes through. Always something fresh and tasty. Great food, coffee and pastry. At Alliance Brothers, the rest of life.
This is a really good book. Okay, I'm not sure I can take the heat up here. Remind you, we're in an attic. Okay. Well, it's not exactly straight, is it? Oh well. Drew, you're kind of on the way. Would you move so I can get downstairs? Come on, Drew. It's time for your dinner. Come on.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Frank Kelly. San Francisco. 9:31 in the city. Into the spring beer.
Drew, here's your food. What time is it? That's a lot cooler down here. It is 7, so my wife's only working for another hour. So I don't know. Is there any other comments? Let's see. Am I listening to Ken Griffin? Uh, am I? I don't know. Let me take a look. I'm listening to KFRC from San Francisco. No, his name's Frank Terry. Who? Who's Ken Griffin? Maybe he was playing Ken Griffin. Who's? Oh, I got to research who Ken Griffin is. Sorry, can't remember things. Ken Griffin. Is Ken Griffin like someone that tells you how to invest your money? Oh, he must be like he must be a financial advisor. I thought you were talking about. Yeah, I don't know. Tell me about Ken Griffin. I don't know. If you want to, it was when you were upstairs, kind of roller rink organ music. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that's. Uh, I should show you those 45s sometime when I have air conditioning and I can think clearly. The whole box. Uh, it's Rinks Records. Um, when you're looking through 45s, usually they have yellow labels. You'll see a big R. It looks like RNX Records, but that's because the design of the logo for the record company, it kind of hides the I, but it's really Rinks Records, RINX Records. There's a roller rink. I think it's still there in Los Angeles called Rinks, and they would record 45s of roller rink music of the whatever songs were popular at the time, and they would sell them on a subscription basis to roller rinks around the country so they wouldn't have to get live organist in there all the time, or they could take breaks and play pre-recorded music. And they were recording these things from the 50s up through the 70s. I don't know if they went into the 80s, but every popular song was turned into a roller rink record. And one guy was Fred Bergen, I think. And there were several guys that recorded, but I think Fred Bergen was the guy that owned the roller rink. And they filmed there for the opening scene of the Buddy Holly story. And you see the guy playing the organ that's on a lot of those Rinks records uh, at the beginning of that movie. Of course, that was the late 70s. He's no longer around. But the Rinks records are just something I discovered through this guy that I bought this jukebox back behind me was really into Rinks records. And there was a record store named Connoisseurs Groovy Oldies in Arlington, Texas. And it was run by a guy who was a manager of the Safeway, but on his off hours, he ran a vintage record store. And whenever he saw a Rinks record, he would smash it or throw it away because he hated it because that music was not cool to him. He was a 1950s hoodlum that would tear up the seats in the Sportatorium and Gene Vincent played. And so he'd want to hear Gene Vincent music reduced to, or Little Richard music turned into roller rink music. But I think it's cool and a wonderful, forgotten musical style. And there are some Rinks records on YouTube, but not enough. Let's see what these people are saying in the chat. I'm going to put the link here. If anyone wants to come on, it would be fantastic to talk to somebody. It would because it honestly feels like the inside of my skull is bleeding right now because it's so getting so damn hot in the house. And so I'll put the link to come on, and let me put the link to the GoFundMe if anyone would help. I mean, we could get this done like real quick, uh, and by Friday. Um, has anyone? Let's see. Maybe someone's donated. Let's see. No, no. Well, we've had 8 wonderful people donate. A couple of anonymous people and lots of people named Michael and Scott. Several people named Scott. Kevin donated. It's great. A lot of people. I don't know if they all want to know have me announce who they are. But how do I get back out of here? But anyway, sometimes it's hard to find my way back to StreamYard. Uh, oh no, I almost hit the end stream button. That's not what I was trying to do. This is the GoFundMe address. Um, oh, what are people saying here? Oh no. Cool. Looking them up now. Yeah, just type in RINX records into YouTube. Uh, and I'm sure you'll find a lot on eBay too. Uh, what's going on here? My wife says her computer's acting up upstairs. She does a job with her computer and her phone. That's great. Um, she says, I'm not even getting messages from work because I'm out of memory. Her computer's only a couple years old and it's out of memory. Damn. And then B-side says, hiya, Greta. Sorry. And my wife says, hello. She says, I'm taking my break half an hour later because I didn't get the message. Oh, oh, you're taking your break right now. Oh, man. And my wife says, our house gets so hot because of the metal roof, stone walls, and the windows are sealed shut. Yeah, yeah, it's true. Um, we have window units too expensive to do central heat and air. I've thought about that. Um, there's a window unit in the basement, but it looks, it's very, we've never even tried to turn it on because it's all messed up looking. So I need to replace that. If I got a window unit on every level, I think that might really help. It was a cheap computer that I got just for the job. Yeah, there's just so many. If we could just open the window, grrr. Well, we might be able to open the window. The problem is there's no screen, and these little kittens will go right out and be crawling on the roof. I don't know. So I'm we're gonna. When I end this live stream, if no one comes on and talks to me or if, whatever, I'm gonna probably just do a short commercial, put it up. 'Cause I don't know if I mean I won't be able to do any more of these long live streams, telethons for a week. Uh, so I may just have to take off work Tuesday and try to see if I can get a bank loan. We got to get about $1,200 together before the air conditioner guy will do the work, and then we'll have to owe him the other half, 2 installments, because the Freon's so expensive because it ruins the environment. Let's see. Oh, we can't lose the kittens. Of course not. Uh, I think we should get a second opinion. Yeah, right. I'm not home to get the second opinion until the week after. Window units are super cheap these days, says Missing Mars. That's excellent news, Missing Mars. Uh, uh, I've always preferred window units. Honestly, there's something about a window unit, the hum of it, something about being in an old motel room with a window unit. Uh, it's just very soothing, and it's like I've always thought they did a better job than any other kind of air conditioning. I used to love to be in Sears and see the window units, and they would have little streamers that would be, blowing with the strength of the air coming out. It was just so. It's something very calming. It reminds you of like your grandparents' house, window units. I think that could solve almost all the problems, but we still need to get Freon. We need to get this situation fixed, and then we need to look into that at least as a backup to in case this ever happens again. My wife says a window unit in the room where we sleep might do the trick, and where I work. Yeah, oh, absolutely, it would. Uh, absolutely. You get a couple of windows on each floor modified to open. I think they probably will open. I mean, this. I don't. They're not painted shut. I just have the the way things were built 100 years ago. The windows are made to open. I just don't know. I just hate to. I just haven't messed with them yet. But I think they would open, and we could install an air conditioner. Uh, and it could be an air conditioner slash heater, so we can have heat if there's something happens for a boiler, because I thought Strange Life said some were painted shut. Uh, did he say that? Uh, there's no paint on the window. Maybe on this level, he may have thought that they were. This could be, but they're not in the basement, and they're not on the level we sleep in. It's pretty. Those windows are pretty much untouched from World War I. I think. Well, what does that say? She says, "Ugh, my break is almost over. On the outside, there's white paint. Yeah, but the white paint mostly has come off. It could be. I'm just speculating. I have no idea. If he said that, he probably is right. I'm not going to argue. I just think they can be opened. Yeah, this is what I'm listening to is KFRC from San Francisco from June 5th, 1970. It's a little bit of a time warp. David Wilcott was just saying that you can time travel through these little fairy rings where there's a bunch of mushrooms that grow in a circle, and there are fairies there, and then you can time travel. But if you time travel to the future, you instantly age, like a vampire and croak because there's fail safes built in where you can't get into the future, mess things up. I think you maybe could go into the past. I'm not sure. You need to watch this show. It was pretty good today. Don't hear many shows where they confirm fairies and elves do exist. Oh well, we're gonna. Oh, my wife's got to go. It says gotta go. Only 5 people watching. My God, what an unpopular, worthless failure of a YouTube channel this is. Everyone must be watching the hard-hitting journalism of 60 Minutes or the wonderful world of Disney in color over on NBC. Uh, well, yeah. Besides, when is your next broadcast, music broadcast? Because I want to tune in live and record it while it's happening, because they're usually kind of like secret where they immediately get taken down once they're done. Then you can't go back unless you got to be there at the time. Uh, I really enjoy it when I'm able to catch one of the broadcasts. I started playing some music this morning. They've got a whole little string of copyright claims, but nothing that's gonna, no copyright strikes. I'm just gonna leave it alone. Oh. I'm having trouble changing the background here. Oh my goodness. Well, we'll go to 2 hours, 55 minutes, and 55 seconds, and we'll stop unless someone has an idea of something entertaining to do. I think it's no point. Damn. Well, it takes a lot out of you looking at photos of your family and when they're all gone, and realizing how, you know, you're, got a channel. I'll never be able to get 1,000 subscribers. I'll never be able to. I mean, I just, retired, can't afford air conditioning repairs. It's kind of a failure, really. Um, so maybe it's what I deserve. At least I've got 8 or 9 friends that have helped me out. I appreciate it. So I really do salute you and God bless you. And if you can help out, man, I would so much appreciate it. I just don't know what I'm going to do over the next few days. I guess we always figure something out, usually with prayer, things happen. But